All right, FFA, what's up? Hey, welcome to Friday Fusion's call. What an amazing week we've had so far. Shout out to you guys for just chasing after those dreams and after those goals and hitting your targets for the week. So super excited to see where we wrap up this week at, as we've got today and tomorrow to lock in that last minute production. So make sure on Saturday night, you guys are filling out that production tracker so that we can give you credit come Monday on the leaderboard. So phenomenal work so far this week. And jumping into today's call. So Monday and Wednesday, we talked about building the dream team. So I'm really hoping that that helped you guys. I know a lot of you are just running towards amazing new accomplishments when it comes to the team building side of things and the agency developing side of things. So today's call, we're going to pivot and we're going to talk about how to finalize your sale as an agent, right? This is one of the most important aspects for you as a life insurance and health insurance agent, and being able to make sure that after you help your client out, you're actually doing the right thing. So we're going to talk about how do you set up payments, right? How do you set up their draft payments? How do you follow through with what you told them you were going to do? How do you make sure that you give your customer the absolute best experience out there as an agent? So we're going to jump right into that on today's call. Before we do, we've been focusing on team growth and team building. I want to give a shout out to some top teams that just have been performing. Let's give a big shout out to the all-time leading team here at FFA, which is none other than the Bomb Squad, led by Taylor. You guys have been crushing it year in and year out, and this year is no different. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job. So nice work to the Bomb Squad. Big shout out to the Phoenix team. Guys are relatively new here, kicking off in the last few months, but you guys have been putting in just some waves of production. So nice work to you guys. Big shout out to Thompson Graham Life Group, always doing big things, led by Joni and Jess. You guys have been doing phenomenal work. So nice job to you guys. The Gilbert girls, who I'm super excited to be teamed up and partnered with. You guys have been crushing it lately since you guys have gotten started here. Just same thing a few months ago. So check out these new teams just coming up and dominating. So nice work to the Gilbert girls and their crew working alongside of us. A nice job to you guys. Big shout out to Sam's team. Like always, you guys just locked in that big promotion. I know you're running towards another huge team promotion, which I can't wait to see you guys hit that thing. So nice work to you guys. Southern Impact's got a bunch of new members there kicking off and getting started. So nice work to you. And you guys crushing it like always. So just lots of momentum, lots of exciting things. So many teams kicking up and getting started, and so many existing teams just setting the stage. So phenomenal job to you guys and to all of the leaders of those teams who continue to just show what's possible if you just put your mind to it. So jumping into today's call, hey, it's Friday, right? I'm not going to keep you on here too long, but we're going to talk about finalizing the sale. Why did I pick to do this on Friday? Because this is the day of the week that you want to get wrapped up. All your pending requirements, all this stuff, everything that you've sold so far this week, you want to make sure you're going into next week with just a clear slate. So that's why I'm doing that on today's call. All right, Brian Tracy said, follow up and follow through until the task is completed and the prize is won. What does he mean by that? Guys, if you don't follow up and follow through, you might not actually get the prize that you are expecting to get when you originally made that policy and that sale. So how do we finalize it? What does that look like? Okay, let's talk about one of the most important aspects of this industry, of your production, and one of the most important things to your clients, which is draft options. What do I mean by that? When should your client make their payment, and when should you as the agent recommend that they do that payment? You see, guys, insurance is a funny thing where it is not active. All right, minus one insurance company, but most 99% of insurance companies, that plan is not active until they make their first payment, right? And I know with who we help, We help a lot of folks on Social Security, on retirement, on fixed income. And a lot of our clients want that first payment to come out right when they get paid the next month. You really have to be careful with this because your client is not covered until that first payment comes out. So I really like to make sure that when I help somebody out with their plan, that when I leave that house, that thing is in force. It's paid. It's active. If they get into an accident next week, their family can expect that life insurance money to go through the process of potentially getting paid out, right? I've had clients in the past that have wanted to wait, and they unfortunately have had something happen to them before that first payment came out. And I had to have the unpleasant conversation, right, with their loved one that that plan really was not active yet because the policy's payment did not go through. All right. That's a mistake that I used to make as an agent, is delaying payments out. I really don't like to do that. I want that thing to get paid when I write it. All right. Why is that? Number one, it protects your client. Okay. If they don't have any current coverage, when you leave that house, they make their payment, they're approved, they're good, they're covered, they're protected. All right. Second reason is it increases your persistency as an agent. If somebody pays for something, they're not going to call you back 2 weeks later and say, hey, I thought about it. I don't want this anymore, right? If they paid it, they're going to keep it. It really will increase your persistency as an agent by about 15 to 20% if you go ahead and encourage that first draft on the policy approval, right? So those are the two main reasons that I like to do that. Now, how do I do this with my clients? It's very simple. If they don't have any coverage, or even if they do, right, and we found something that was better for them, that worked out better, it was an ethical replacement, I encourage them, all right, to go ahead and make that first payment. And the way I say it is very simple. Hey, look, Miss Betty, this plan, right, this is not going to go active until your first payment is made. All right. So if we set it up for 4 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, that's a long time that you're either waiting on being covered, or that's a long time before you get your cash value back from your old plan, whatever the situation is, right? We can forego all of that waiting and all that potential hardship by just going ahead and making that first payment once it gets approved. Is that something that would be manageable for you to do? Right. And if they say no, hey, absolutely. Wait, right? Push it out. Let them pay when they want to pay. But you really have to be careful here. You have to advise your clients that that is not active until that payment comes out. And when they hear that and they know that, a lot of times they're just going to want to pay it, right, guys? It's just like homeowners insurance. You don't want to have a house with a bunch of trees around it that has no insurance on it. What happens if lightning hits, that tree falls on that house and there's no coverage on it, right? They have no money to fix it. So their life and their health is exactly the same. People want to be covered. They want to know when they walk out of that door that if something, God forbid, happens, their family is taken care of. Okay. So when to draft, guys, don't be the agent that's just automatically, I'm going to push it out till next month, right? Be the agent that really sits down, has a heart to heart with your client about why it actually is important to swing the $60 or $50 or whatever it is right away. Okay. Talk about those stories. If you don't have one of those stories yet of a client passing away in between that time frame and not being covered, use mine, right? I have multiple clients that wanted to wait and something happened and then they didn't get any benefit from it, right? Guys, unfortunately, with life insurance, the industry we're in, a lot of times people wait to get it until they're fearful that something's going to happen. They've got a new health condition that just got diagnosed. They're expecting something, surgery, whatever it is, right? People don't think about this stuff until sometimes it's too late and they have to think about it. So there's no point in pushing things out. Okay. Set those first drafts up on approval with your client's permission, of course. Explain that process. And you're going to find that a lot of your clients are just very, very happy to know that you have their best interests at hand and how this whole process works. Okay. So that's number one, which is when to draft. Number two, let's talk about when do you stop draft? When do you surrender a plan? What if you're doing a replacement? What does this process look like for you as an agent? Guys, this is so important for you as an agent to be able to follow the laws, the regulations set forth by the Department of Insurance, by the carriers you represent, by Freedom and Faith, right? It's so important to do this process right, so that you provide your clients with the absolute best experience. So let's talk about replacing a plan. Okay, what does that mean? That means that your client has existing coverage, and in some way, shape, or form, the plan that you're writing may change that. All right. It doesn't even matter if it's if they're thinking about it. If they're thinking about it, it's a replacement, right? So how do you go about this? Okay. Number one, on the application process, anytime your client has existing coverage and the plan you're writing could potentially change what they have, or they stop paying on it, whatever the case is, you have to say yes to replacing that plan, right? When you do that, it doesn't mean that that plan is going to get canceled or anything like that, right? It's just notifying your carrier that you're writing that there's a potential for replacement, so that they can send out the appropriate forms to the existing company and to the client that they want to make sure this is in their best interest, right? So make sure you're filling out the replacement forms, leaving them with your client. Make sure you're checking yes to that. It does absolutely no harm to you or to your client to check yes to that question. You're just being upfront, right? You're making sure of that. When I'm doing that with a client, let's say they have existing plan, whatever I'm proposing is better for them, for their situation. They agree with it. I've explained it all. I'm going to show them that replacement form. I'm going to read it off to them, guys. Check it out. You have to read that thing. You have to make sure your client understands that what you're doing is better for them and why it's better. And they have to agree to that, right? So make sure you're going through that replacement form. It builds a lot of credibility for you as an agent to be thorough in this process. Okay. It's going to lower the risk of your client canceling significantly because they're going to know that you're being upfront with them, right? So let's say you are replacing a plan, you check yes to replacing. All right, guys, that does not stop their current coverage. Some agents make the mistake of thinking if you fill out a replacement form that the existing company is just going to stop billing them. That does not work that way. Once your plan is approved in underwriting, all right, you as the agent, with your client's permission, of course, you have to help them stop their current draft to make sure that they don't get double drafted, right? If you want to have a mad client, forget to send in the draft stop cancellation form or call it in with them on the phone and let them get double charged the next month. Well, you're going to have one upset customer. So this is my rule of thumb. Once the new policy is fully approved in underwriting, okay, I like to go ahead with the client and make sure that that existing plan, the draft is stopped so that they do not get charged. Notice I said the draft is stopped. I'm not canceling their current plan, just preventing the automatic draft from going through. They're going to get a bill in the mail, right? And I always advise the client, hey, that's your old company, right? Don't pay the bill. Just make sure you don't get charged twice, right? When do we actually surrender their plan? Let's say you're doing a replacement and you're canceling their existing plan because your new one is what they're keeping and they don't want the old one anymore. Guys, you don't surrender that plan until your plan's draft had cleared the bank. It's good to go. It's active and in force. That might be a month after you write the plan, right? You might have to go back by your client's house, get that situated for them, but you want to not do that until your plan is active, in good standing, and they are fully covered. Why is that? Is because if your new plan doesn't draft for a month, all right, and you cancel their current plan when you write this app, they're going an entire month without insurance, right? What if something happens to them? You don't want to do that. So stop draft. Okay, that happens once your plan's approved. The actual surrender, the cancellation, don't do that until your plan's active and in force and paid current. Okay, it just protects your client and it protects you as the agent, protects your license, right? To make sure that you're doing everything correctly. So make sure you're doing right by your clients with that, guys. This is a big part in solidifying what you write, right? It's not about what you submit. It's about what stays on the books. That's going to build this business up for you. All right. And that's a big key there, is doing things in the right order. So hopefully that helps you guys some. All right, what to do next with the little Steve Urkel icon on here. Post sale. What's so important for you to do? Guys, your clients have to have this stuff written out for them. Okay. Every house that I'm in, when I sell that plan, I'm leaving them a folder, my business card, the replacement form if I needed to leave one. All right. You got the life insurance buyer's guide. You've got the page that you can fill out telling them like what their new plan is or what you sold them, right? I put in the folder, hey, your new policy booklet's going to take 2 to 3 weeks probably before you get that thing in the mail. I leave them with my phone number, everything, so that when I leave that house, there is zero questions, right? I will ask my client, hey, how do you feel about what we did today? Do you have any questions, any concerns, any hesitations, anything I need to explain better? How are you feeling, right? I will have that talk with them so that we go through everything at the end of that application process so that they know when I leave that house, everything is good to go. The worst thing you can do, guys, is sell a plan, not really explain anything. Don't leave your client. How many of you have ran into a client who took out insurance? They gave some random person all their personal information and they don't have anything to show for it. They don't have a folder. They don't have a carrier book. They have nothing, right? Happens all the time. Don't be that agent. Leave them with everything they need so that when you leave, they feel good. Okay. When you leave, all right, and one of their family members comes in and they're like, well, who was that person? They can show what you left them, give you some credibility, right? Guys, if you leave a client with nothing, all right, and one of their loved ones comes back and they're like, Mom, you gave some random person all your information. They didn't leave you anything. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to think they just got scammed, right? And I know you don't want your client to think that. So leave all this stuff. Guys, the more thorough that you can be post-sale, the more you're going to retain, the happier your customers are going to be, right? And ultimately, the better your business is going to be. So post-sale, don't be lost in this process, right? Have a good folder. Go to Walmart, Staples, Office Depot, whatever. Get a bunch of those just little folders, right? Put all your good papers in there. Make sure you have everything that you need going out there in the field. Leave your business card. Make sure you write down next steps, right? Hey, I'm going to call you in 2 weeks. Make sure you got your booklet. I'm going to stop by. I'm going to deliver your policy for you, right? All these important things post-sale. Make sure you're being thorough with them, right, guys? It's Friday. You're looking back at all of your clients you've helped so far this week. All right. You have to go through each one. Make sure by the end of today, end of tomorrow, the boxes are checked, right? Everything that you said you were going to do is done and your clients are in a good spot. So super important. Guys, this call, these tips is probably going to help your business more than any other call or tip I could give you, because this is what gives you long-term success, is doing the right thing post-sale. So hopefully that helps you guys as we wrap up this week. You guys are absolutely dominating it out there. So let's finish today and tomorrow strong. I appreciate you guys for jumping on here, and we will be back here on Monday.